guys, welcome back to my Practically Imperfect Life. Today I want to share my 2024 planner. This little black book is what saves my sanity on a daily basis. It goes with me everywhere, and I record everything pertinent in my life in it. It helps me keep track of everything from cleaning my house to appointments to planning things for here on YouTube, planning things for our homeschool, knowing what I'm up to as far as reading. I mean, everything lives in this little planner. And quick backstory, I've always been a paper planner. I've always preferred to write things down, create lists, mark things like that. And I've tried a lot of different planners, and I just could not find one that worked perfectly for me. I had looked at like the Erin Condren planners. I had looked at the Happy planners. I used an A5 planner for several years. And then finally, about 4 years ago, I saw somebody sharing their bullet journal on YouTube, and I thought, that might be perfect because I've always enjoyed kind of doodling and drawing and having things that were, fun and decorative in my planners. But I also liked how you could truly customize it to what it was you needed. Now, my planner comes from Notebook Therapy. They by far make my favorite bullet journals. I like them because the pages are really nice and thick. Nothing bleeds through, so I could cover one whole page with all kinds of color, and I'm not going to see a bit of that on the next page. They have lots of different sizes. I had played around with the idea of getting a larger one this year, but I carry a backpack purse most days, and I wanted something that I could fit in that easily. So this is the one that I have. I really think the cover is fun. It's got my little coffee cup. And each year I ask my husband to get another one for me for Christmas, and that's what he does. And then I spend the first couple of days after Christmas getting it set up and ready for the upcoming year. So when I show you the flip through, it's everything that I've put in here so far, minus like the specifics as far as like dates and things like that. I just got all of the initial outlining done in it. Now, another reason why I like this is because it's one of the least expensive ways to do planning that I have found. I mean, you can get really high up there in terms of the things you're buying when it comes to different types of planners and like customized planners and all of that. I literally have this, and then I have a couple of different pen options that I use. So I really do like micron pens for doing most of my lettering, most of my outlining. These are the Pigma microns. I have lots of different sizes everywhere from the 3s all the way up to the 8s. I think the 8 is the one I use the most, and I just got these on Amazon. And then I do most of the artwork inside of them with my Cali Art markers. These have a brush tip on one end and then a fine point on the other. This particular set, I want to say it was purchased 3 years ago, maybe. None of the colors have run out. All of the brush tips are still in really good shape, and I've just used the heck out of it. So it was a really good investment because I know it's going to continue to last me 4 years going forward. They also dry really quickly, so if you're working on something on one page and you need to turn the page to work on another, you don't have to worry about it smearing and bleeding and things like that. So I have just really enjoyed these. In fact, my daughter used to swipe these from me so often that she got a set for Christmas now, so she can use her own. And if you have anybody in your life who really enjoys drawing or keeping track of things in a different way, or maybe they like to make to-do lists, or they want to keep track of things like their reading challenges, reading prompts, maybe like a daily journal, bullet journaling is awesome because it is so easy to customize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick flip through, show you what I have in my planner and kind of how I utilize it. But truly, this is what helps me manage everything in my life. As a super busy mom with 2 active teenagers, lots of hobbies, lots of work requirements and commitments, I just can't beat this. Okay, so here is this year's planner. I really do like this one because the pages are so nice and thick. I mean, there's no bleed through when you're going from page to page. But just to show you what I have, so I have my word of the year, cultivate, and I've included like the definition of it and then a whole bunch of synonyms because I just felt like it was exactly what I was wanting to do this year with all of my different goal topics. I did make an index page so I could quickly find different things within the book. I've played with the idea of adding tabs onto here, but have not decided yet for sure if that's something I want to do. Here I will fill in my goals for the year. I'm wanting to try to get through reading the entire Bible this year. So this is my Bible tracker page. Projects for the house and for the garden, things that I'm hoping to get tackled. sewing projects. I've been having trouble keeping track of where I'm at with all of my different craft projects. So I wanted to be able to make some marks in here as far as like what pattern I'm using, what fabric styles I'm doing, and then where I'm at with various projects, because I have so many in progress projects in my sewing room right now. It's terrible. This page is new this year. It's a favorite recipes page. So as we make a recipe from a website or a Pinterest link or a recipe book, we can write down the name of the recipe and where we found it, so I can quickly reference back when I'm doing meal planning. This is my workout tracker. I have a blank page because I'm not quite sure what I want to put on there, but I track my workouts as far as like how many days a week I work out, whether I'm doing cardio, strength training, or both. A car log, just keeping track of like basic things. So putting money back for a down payment on a new car, that's one of my goals this year, along with keeping track of like what I've done maintenance wise with my vehicles. Movies I'd like to see this year. Typically I'll put movies I want to see in a theater, and then TV shows. There's some older shows that I like to go back and kind of watch, and new shows that I try to keep up with. And then there are a ton of pages related to reading because I love to read. I have a goal each year of reading 100 books. So this is my 100 book challenge. And then how many books I read per month so I can see how I'm doing. And then I do choose a book of the year. So I just put this in here so I can kind of keep track of what my favorite one was by month, then by quarter, and then choose an overall favorite for the year. I also like to try to vary my reading, so I like to do reading prompts. Now, I get lots of different sources of inspiration. I've looked at the Build Your Library reading prompts for past years, so there's really no like set rhyme or reason to where all of these prompts came from. There's just a good variety to try to get me reading lots of different things. So like Victorian books, historical event that happened in my lifetime, survival, a natural disaster, teaching me something new. I mean, just lots of different prompts, and I'll write in the title and the author as I read those. These are for me to fill in my TBR. So nothing is like filled out with the details in here. Like I haven't written in goals. I haven't written in dates of things. What I will do is I will look at my bookshelves. What have I purchased recently or in the last year that I haven't read that I'd like to? And then I'll fill in these with my TBR. And then I do follow a couple of different book YouTubers, and as they make recommendations, I will write them in there so I can watch for those books. This is my actual reading log, so I will log everything I'm reading. So this will be things for personal reading. This will be things I'm reading for our homeschool, things I'm doing as read alouds with the kids. And so I'll write when I started it, when I finished it, who it was by, and then any thoughts on the book. Now, this is how I keep my head straight when it comes to cleaning. So I have particular tasks that I try to do every week, once a week for cleaning. And so I will mark them off as I do them. They don't change throughout the year. It's the same tasks every week. And then I have ones that I aim to do once or twice a month. So if you see a slash in the box, that is because I will try to do that one twice a month. And then everything else is once a month, just trying to make sure that I get it done. These are things that I try to do twice a year. So some bigger tasks like a huge pantry clean out, washing all of the windows, cleaning out the garage. There are some things I try to do once a year, and then some things that have to be done a little more frequently, like changing or checking the furnace filter and things like that. This year I've added a deep cleaning checklist page because I do feel like each room needs to get a little extra special attention at least once a year. I mean, hardcore deep cleaning and really purging. So I've written down all of the different rooms and spaces that I think are going to need done, and then I will color those in as I get those rooms finished. The when did I last are things that they don't really need to be done a certain number of times a year, but I want to just kind of keep track of how recently I've taken care of them. For example, changing the toothbrushes, right? Like typically I do that at least once a month, but sometimes I forget when I did it last, and it's like, is it time to change them or not? And then I have some savings envelopes that I add money to. You can see I've already thrown in some initial money into those envelopes this year already, but I will fill in a square as I add in the specific dollar amount that's listed, and then that way that money is put aside and ready to go. Then each month is set up pretty similarly. So there's a title page, and then there is a list of my goals for that month. So that you see the same 6 categories, and then I will write in the specific goals for that month. And then for each one, I did do a month at a glance. Now this is the calendar page that I will use when I'm planning like my YouTube videos. What am I going to do on what days during the week? But I'll also put in like key things that I need to remember. Like if we are going to be gone for a couple of days, or if there's a big appointment coming up. It just kind of helps when you're looking at the whole month at one time versus just a 1 week spread at a time. And then for each month, I did find a Bible verse and wrote that in there. Not necessarily to like memorize for the month, but just something to kind of reflect on as I go through the month. Then I have a planning page for each month just for putting down anything that I need to. Then I have my daily 10. So these are going to seem kind of stupid to some people. They're going to be like, well, wouldn't you do these things anyways? Yes, ideally, but you have to remember I have a lot on my plate. I work as a nurse full time. I run a baking business from home. I homeschool. I garden. I do YouTube. I'm just a busy person, and there's so much on my brain at one time that sometimes I just need to have those basic things written down somewhere so I can check them off and make sure that they're done. So these are things that I aim to do every day, all year long. So taking my fiber and my vitamins, making sure that I've gotten my water quota for the day, doing my personal devotion, reading for at least 20 minutes. Skin is following my skincare routine, so I'm really trying to ramp that up this year because I'm turning 40 and living on a farm and being outside as much as I am, my skin is in rough shape. Dishes and counters just means that all of the dishes are either in the dishwasher or washed, like there's nothing in the sink, and that the counters have been cleaned off. Vacuuming the whole upstairs because we have a million animals and it's just crazy. And then cleaning out all of our cat boxes because we have a bunch of cats, which means we have a bunch of cat boxes. I also do a mood tracker. So I track the same basic things. And what I'm looking for is like, what was my dominant emotion of the day? Was I happy, okay, stressed, tired, or angry? And then I fill those in. I do a different type of mood tracker for every month. And then the last couple of years, I had done a gratitude page. So what was one thing I was grateful for that day? And this year I decided I was going to change it up and do the highlight of my day. Because I saw a quote that said, every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. And so even if I'm having a bad day, I want to think about what was the good thing or the highlight in that day. Then I do weekly spreads. I start my weeks on Monday because that kind of follows my work schedule because I go on call for my nursing job on a Monday and then work through that Sunday. So it just kind of helps me to organize it by my weeks that I'm off and my weeks that I'm on call. And then I just keep track of my to-dos. And then I will highlight like the weekends and different days. So I will do that for each day. The title pages for each month. This year I decided to do the birth flower for each month. So for example, it is the violet in February, and don't judge my drawing. I'm not an artist. I look online for inspiration for all of these things, and I try to do my best. I've had some really cool botany stickers for some of the months from a DK botany sticker book, but couldn't find it for every single month. But just to kind of show you some of the differences here. So here's my mood page and my highlight page for February or March. And the way I did these title pages, this technique is called a Dutch door when it comes to journaling. Now, you can get really creative with how you do Dutch doors. You can have flaps that flip up. You can have things in between your page spreads. I just wanted to make it easier for me to find each month's title page. So I just did the cutout on those pages. And you'll see I have some blank pages here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use those for extra planning or if I might want to write in a quote or do some doodling. I just wanted to leave them so I had the option if I needed it.
Oh, the lilac snow drifting down so soft and slow outside my window. I watch it go. Oh, the lilac snow. And though the world may seem so still, it's coming in.
Let me show you December because this is also really helpful during Christmas time. So I have a wish list page in here. So as people mention throughout the year that there's something that they've been wanting or have been wishing for, then I can make a list and use that when I'm trying to do Christmas shopping through the year. Now, the beginning of the December pages is similar to everything else. I've got like my mood page and my highlights page, but then I have some extra things. So I have a page where I keep track of Christmas movies we want to watch and cookies and baking items that we'd like to do. I will write in our Christmas bucket list. We did this last year, and just kind of surveyed the kids and asked like what were things that you really wanted to make sure we did during the Christmas holiday. And we wrote out a bucket list and we kind of checked things off of that this year. So I want to do that again for next year. And then a gift tracker. So I will write in the names of different family members and people I need to shop for. And as I pick things up throughout the year, I'll write it in along with like the cost and things like that. Or if I have an idea for something I want to get them, and then I can check off that it is done. And then at the very end of the book, after all of the month pages, I do keep track of everybody, like all of my close friends and family's birthdays and anniversaries. And then I will use this when I'm sending out cards at the beginning of the month for all of those different things. And that finishes my flip through of my 2024 planner. Hopefully this gave you a couple of ideas and inspiration if you're looking to get into bullet journaling, or even just want to change up how you're doing your notebooking or planning in whatever type of planner you have. I really just couldn't imagine staying on top of all of the things that I'm responsible for and that I want to be keeping track of without my bullet journal. It has been the most useful tool that I have added to my arsenal in the last couple of years. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video, everybody. Happy planning, happy homeschooling, and I'll see you in the next video.